So initially I recorded this after watching episodes 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel. Evidently I didn't get this out before season 2 finished, but I still stand by the points I made in this video, and will amend those that I don't agree with. Charlie is cringe. I was trying to ignore it in the first 3 episodes, but as the season goes on, I'm finding it harder to do so. I honestly thought Charlie's biggest cringe moments would have been done with in season 1. That she was becoming a better leader by the season finale, learning to stand up for herself, and learning to take into account Angel Dust's boundaries. Her being nervous and overwhelmed in the season 2 premiere made a lot of sense. There's a crowd of people there bigger than anything she's ever seen before. Everyone is constantly badgering and questioning her about what's going to happen with the future of the hotel and hell itself, taking the hotel more as a combative approach against the angels and taking the revenge on heaven. It's far outside of Charlie's wheelhouse, and it feels fitting and in line for her character, someone who's still trying to step in the role of being a leader and still figuring things out. But when you get the scenes with Baxter and her calling him Pentious, the cringe. I get she's still mourning Pentious' death, but having a character mix someone up with someone else will never not be painful. It's kind of funny, and at least she kind of got over it quickly enough. But that was the start. I'm liking Vaggie more in this season too. I'm liking her relationship, but Charlie continues her trait of halfway acknowledging Vaggie's attempts to help her and just completely ignoring her whenever she has her mindset on something. And man, does it get infuriating. You guys thought Unhappy Campers was bad with Moxie and Hell of a Boss. Charlie takes it to new levels. She has not just one episode dedicated to her screwing up repeatedly, but 2. And even then, when you take into account season 1, the amount of times Charlie has effed up things, especially for Angel Dust, is getting high. And part of that is definitely narrative intention, since Angel Dust calls her out by pointing out she can't just keep saying sorry for meddling in his life and overstepping his boundaries and doing way too much. So I'm sure this plot is to set up Charlie's character growth, but that doesn't make it any less painful to watch. So in episode 3, Hazbin Hotel, behind closed doors, Charlie has the confirmation that Sir Pentious has been redeemed and is in heaven. And she has the bright idea to contact the V's to set up an interview with them so she can tell all of hell about Pentious' redemption, and doesn't think to listen to Vaggie at all, consider talking to Angel Dust about inviting Vox and Velvet over. For all she knew, Valentino could have showed up as well, and I feel so bad for Angel Dust and the amount of panic he had realizing that they were there at the hotel, which became his safe space. And this was already to Vox Tech, the group, the company, the news station that was demonizing her and calling her a dictator and already slandering her public image. She thought it was a good idea to call them up and try and be like, oh yeah, actually, the hotel is a good thing. I can't fathom how Charlie is this unfathomably stupid in the age of the internet, even before the internet, with news publications. Slander is very much a thing. Why would she think that going to the very group that is slandering her name and making her out to be a terrible person and incompetent and treating people terribly, to go to them directly and think she could set the record straight and that they wouldn't turn it against her? Why didn't Charlie broadcast her pitch on her own? Surely Vox Tech isn't the only means of hell-wide, city-wide broadcasting, say, Alistair's radio tower. Granted, a plot point of his is that he was gaining less notoriety since he's been gone for 7 years, but he certainly seemed to have no issue announcing his presence during Stayed Gone and having people listen to him. And it's still unlikely anyone would even listen to Charlie, but when she takes a step back to breathe, like when Lucifer pulls her out of her panic moment with the crowd, or Rosie takes her aside to talk about Vaggie in episode 7 of season 1, she can state her intentions much more clearly. Charlie is the princess of hell. She should be able to garner some means to speak her voice without it being filtered through a company whose intent is to bash her and only make the V's look perfect. I can understand Charlie wanting to rectify the situation and clear the air about what's going on, but man, it's like she took a class in BoJack Horseman, except BoJack at least had one good interview that he thought he had in the bag that was like easy street, and then he got the hard-hitting questions after the fact when he went for a second interview. Charlie had none of that, and she still made the mistake to go and talk to them a second time to try and do it live. And I still can't fathom how Charlie thought going live to set the record straight would have gone any better for her, because once Vox and Velvet stepped foot into the hotel, they started bombarding her with questions immediately, and she didn't even know how to react at first and was just giving the worst answers imaginable. Why did she think she could handle it on live television with Katie Killjoy, one of Vox's newscasters who's cutthroat and homophobic, very much so? And she brought Nifty with her as backup? On literal what planet is Nifty going to be a good backup for giving a boost to the hotel? Like, I was wondering why she was dragging Nifty along and what she was going to be doing in the episode. And I like that Nifty got a song. It's pretty damn funny. Why doesn't she bring Faggy along? Or Husk? Literally either one of them could provide a better explanation on what the hotel is actually like. And their blunt attitudes could probably appeal to sinners more, with being like, oh yeah, the hotel is dumb bullshit, and actually give a good pitch for why the hotel is a good place to stay and how it helped people and helped Pensius and Angel. They would be far better speakers than Charlie ever is, like 99% of the time. It's just the levels of incompetence that go beyond what I've been seeing people mention, that she's the daughter of Lucifer, she's the daughter of the sin of pride, so of course she's going to be prideful about her name and her image, and of course she's going to want to handle things on her own and fix it on her own. But her decisions are incomprehensibly stupid, and like, there's being prideful, and then there's being impulsive and just not thinking at all. I don't understand why she didn't come up with a plan of attack, or obviously not do the newscast, the live interview. And to make things worse with episode 3, it seemed like Vox and Velvet were just going to leave once they realized they weren't going to get as much dirt on Charlie as they wanted, and she couldn't prove her redemption story, or at least they were baiting her, and she fell for it immediately. But the stupid, oh, I can prove I'll redeem someone right now, and forcing Angel Dust into that was just... And the stupid trope of, oh, we gotta do everything that Serpentius did. That'll get you redeemed, and then only to realize, oh, you're not the same person as Serpentius? Like, no shit. And Angel just making it expressly clear that the V's are up to no good, and that they just want to ruin Charlie, and Vox gets off to Angel Dust's humiliation. Meanwhile, Charlie is putting him in the most humiliating situations. There was absolutely no reason for Charlie to be doing this, or to be doing this desperate. She knows Pensius can be redeemed. It wasn't like she's spiraling that about his death anymore. She knows he's alive and in heaven. So what is she doing in these 2 episodes? Like, at least Charlie, Vaggie, Angel Dust, and Husk have an actual conversation about Angel Dust trying to redeem himself, and Angel Dust actually accepts it. That's probably one of the very few examples of actual good communication Charlie has with someone in the series. She sort of had one with Vaggie at the end of episode 1, when she agrees to let Vaggie take over more of the hotel responsibilities, and Charlie's just jumping the gun again and doing whatever she wants to. The only saving grace in this situation is the acknowledgement that Angel Dust is working to improve himself and actually believes in Charlie's dream and wants to go to heaven, most likely. But you got Charlie trying to bum rush him, doing various good deeds, and then mimicking everything Serpentius did, down to the sacrifice part. It's a little unhinged, to say the least. Once she finally has the big brain click moment that Angel Dust is different from Serpentius, she immediately thinks it's a good idea to just start prying him about what his sins are. You know, Charlie wants to, prove her point, but her stupidity is unreasonably high. Like, not everyone in hell is obviously gonna be as easy as Serpentius. She knows that there are literal cannibals in hell. A literal cannibal is working with her, Alistair. And he's also a serial killer and he owns Husk's soul. Why did Charlie think that prying angel dust would be something not difficult for him to deal with? And it leads into Angel Dust's call out of she can't keep saying sorry to him. Wow, the BoJack parallels are really hitting now with Todd's speech to BoJack at the end of the one season with the you can't keep doing this, you can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself, like that makes it okay. You need to be better. And Charlie isn't nearly as messed up a person as BoJack is, obviously, but her mistakes do keep counting. And the fact that she was like prying angel dust with Vox and Velvet there just for Vox to blurt out what the situation was, because Valentino knows Angel intimately, and Vox and Val are intimate, so of course they talked about angel dust like that. And Charlie's whole terrible plan to try and replicate Pentius's sacrifice was to pretend to be an evil villain ready to kill Husk when everyone knows that she would never do that, but also trusting that the V's wouldn't try sabotaging something just for the lulz and because Vox hates Angel Dust and is probably jealous of him. So Charlie could have gotten Husk killed if it wasn't for Vaggie being there. Oh, Husk and Angel, actually. And also Nifty having no self-awareness, I guess, of this situation. And it's only after this massive train wreck, after Angel Dust is emotionally hurt by all this and could have been physically hurt, and Vox is just tearing into him, that Charlie finally puts her foot down to kick Vox and Velvet out. And is upset that they ended up smearing her name and making the hotel look like shit. Like, wow, who could have thought? So then in the follow-up episode, deciding to go on live television, and I still can't comprehend why she thought it was a good idea. She didn't even prepare anything to say, didn't have anything to back up her points, and brought Nifty. Like, was it just for an excuse to have a Nifty song about her cleaning? That's what it feels like, because I really don't see any logical reason Charlie would have brought her along on a big interview to talk about the hotel and their redemption plans. Nifty is like not even present or aware half the time of what's happening, or she just simply doesn't care. So I don't know if the second half of the season is gearing towards Charlie finally learning her lesson, but I hope so. So yeah, that's my rant about Charlie, at least as of halfway through season 2. No idea if y'all will agree or not, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my recommendations at the end.